taught Tableau. So if you see, like this is a Gartner is a market research or business analysis company. They basically analyze different companies, right? Who are the market leader in particular area, right? So 2020 report, it says Magic Quadrant for Analytics and Business Intelligence Platforms. So CIS is again one of the big company. So they have put it in to business. So they have a kind of a whole package, right? If a company takes, so that's why if you see SaaS, SAP, Salesforce are falling into this range, right? So it is, so whatever a company needs for this kind of intelligence, business intelligence, or your data analytics, right? The complete suite these companies are able to provide, right? But again, they fall because, so that is again a problem, right? If you have lot many things you are offering, right? And getting the best in that particular, see, Tableau or let's say in Microsoft Power BI, right? They are providing only the data visualization part. So they are the best in class for that, right? But if I look into Salesforce, if I look into SAS, SAP, and IBM SPSS, right? They're providing a lot of offerings, starting with the data visualization, data analytics, then data warehousing. So a lot of offerings they have, right? And that is where they are little kind of below, like under Tableau and Microsoft, under the ability to execute, right? But still then, these are the few things to learn. Uh, any company you join, either one of these kind of softwares will be using. So I'm not telling that, okay, these are the only thing you should learn. Going forward, you will have option or opportunity to learn many things. Try to learn as much as possible. But again, like I said, my focus for this class will be on SaaS, right? Business intelligence, business analytics, because like I said, these softwares platforms are basically for both, right? So business intelligence simply if I say mostly into the reporting or the data visualization, right? What is happening in the company, right? How many customers are visiting my website, how much revenue I am earning per month, which are the products being sold like kind of frequently, right? So that is somewhere like looking into pattern, gathering data, creating data visualization. So those part will come under business intelligence, right? When you talk about business analytics, taking that data, what other things I can do, right? Now I know that this is happening in my company. Let's say Amazon internally will have that dashboard, right? So they will be like every day, or at least let's say Diwali happened or Christmas sales happened, right? So every few seconds, few milliseconds, the dashboards will keep updating, saying that okay, in mobile phone, these are the highest selling mobile phones, and these are the per phone revenue what we are earning, right? So that is something which will come under business intelligence, right? So the real-time data they are observing. So dashboard is already created, might be in Tableau or might be in Power BI, or they might have created their own dashboard tool, and they are observing what is happening, right? So those are the data visualization and understanding whether they should take any step. Let's say they have a offer for OnePlus phones or iPhones, and they have released one offer, but still the sales has not picked up, right? So they'll be thinking of whether the backup offer they should release or not, right? So that is where the real-time action is happening, the business intelligence part. Business analyst or business analytics is little bit of going forward, strategic in nature, right? Okay, so this year this happened. I have a past 3 years data. Then what I should do for the next Holi sale or next Diwali sale. So that is somewhere I am planning for my future, right? So again, analytics are of different times, right? Which I'll kind of plan in the next slide. But main idea is taking this data, what I'm going to do in future. So one we will be forecasting, one we can be predicting something, right? Something can be okay. I have these 4 or 5 or 10 things to do. Which path I should take, right? So that is somewhere how your optimization or prescriptive analytics can come, right? So that is where you have a, though I'll say that line is little bit blurred, right? So that is not a very clear line. If I talk about business intelligence as for today, predictive analytics is mostly for tomorrow, right? What will happen in future, right? I hope I covered all the things. Provides tool to explore the data, gain insight, focuses on collecting and reporting relevant data. It is basically reporting data visualization, right? Helpful in driving the change in business and predict future growth. Mostly it is forward looking, and your business intelligence is present or basically past looking, right? I have this information and this looks like this, right? Okay. So next is different type of analytics. I have not put something here that is prescriptive analytics. Ideally, this optimization or kind of simulation is known as prescriptive analytics, right? So this part just we discussed. This is also known as business intelligence, right? Descriptive analysis. It can be a standard report type, right? Every month, every weekly. If you join TCS as a business analyst, right? So there will be a team lead or a resource lead. The role basically TCS hires from our campus. So they'll be creating these reports either in a data visualization tool or a simple Excel. So just showing that, okay, how many resources are there in different projects? What are the usage of their like kind of working hours? Like basically all the details about those resources, right? Some of you, if you are from HR, right, you might have to create that kind of dashboard showing that, okay, how many employees, what are the like kind of at different stages, who are going to be promoted next year. All those things need to be put in the report format. So from the standard report is basically which is already like you need not have to make any changes, right? So this is every month, every quarter, every 15 days, depending upon the timeline. Only thing you have to say that what is the frequency, right? So the report will be generated and will be sent across to the top management or the persons who will be like authorized to take those reports. Sometimes ad hoc reports, depending upon the requirement, right? You'll make certain changes. Okay, I the like management might ask that, okay, sales is declining in eastern part in last one quarter, last 3 months. Sales has been declining, right? Then they'll just say that, okay, give me the little breakup of sales in eastern region, all the states, whatever 8 or 10 states which are coming on eastern part of India, right? Give me the state-wise breakup. Then what will happen? That might not be covered on the standard report. Now some of you like who is the business analyst or data analyst, he will create another like in Tableau or Power BI or in Excel, right? Just drag and drop and put that additional state-wise breakup, right? So when you take the printout or when you like kind of publish it, so it will show additional report showing the state-wise breakup, right? So that is something ad hoc report. Then now management might ask, okay, I have got the state-wise report. Then I see that in Odisha and West Bengal, sales are down. Now they'll again go little bit of querying, right? Digging deep. So why down? It might happen that you might not have that kind of information in that data, whatever Excel file or whatever data set you have, right? Then you might have to again create a SQL query, drag the like salesperson wise details. Who are the salesperson who are there in those regions, West Bengal and Odisha, right? So let's say in that data set, you do not have the salesperson wise details. Now you will drag, you will put a SQL query in your database and take that additional information, right? So that is where your additional query will come and it will get the, okay, salesperson wise, these are the sales in these kind of states, right? Then now you will know that, okay, for last 3 months, this particular three salesperson or two salesperson or maybe particular districts in let's say West Bengal or Odisha, they are not doing well because your distributor has kind of might have suicide or distributor is not selling well, right? So somebody might have put a comment, right, in the data set. Right? So those things right now again will be visible. So now you have those alerts, right? Now management will decide what to do, right? So this is where your business intelligence works. Currently, this is happening in my company. Some things are happening good, some things are happening bad, some things are beyond my matrices, right? Then what are the things we have to do, right? So this is where your descriptive analysis or business intelligence most of the times works. Now coming back to little bit of higher, I'll not say higher. It is not that okay, something is better than other. Depending upon the company, sometimes you only have to use the business intelligence. You need not have a predictive analytics tool because you do not require that. So again, I'll take back my word. It is not that something is predictive analytics is better or not. It is just a additional analytics or analytics capability we have, right? Now, what will say you like as a business analyst or data analyst, you have been observing this trend. Particular uh, period, let's say April to June, sales is declining in your company, right? So this is a simple observation you have been doing in your dashboard. So your work is to just to maintain the dashboard. But when you saw the data for last 3 years, particular April to June, you realize that okay, sales are declining for a particular area, right? Which is should not be a case, right? So now you will have a hypothesis because you have an assumption, right? Why this is happening? So you will now go and say that okay, is the sales or put a like kind of a question mark, right? Why it is happening, right? Or like kind of a is the sales in let's say eastern region of India declining by 10 percentage in between April to May each year, right? So that is something you are putting a question to yourself, right? So this is where your statistical analysis or the research methods, if some of you, or I think BRM was a mandatory thing. So this is where, if you remember, we discussed about whether taking few sample data, right? I can make a assumption. I can extrapolate that for a bigger audience, bigger data set, right? So that is where your statistical analysis comes into picture, right? Amazon can do, let's say Amazon is like putting this kind of offers in Christmas or let's say Holi or Diwali. So what they'll tell, a particular age group from 18 to 25 will buy or the like kind of the average whatever the card size or the average buying purchase value of age group 18 to 25 each 25% is more than the age group from 25 to 30. So this is an interesting hypothesis because 18 to 25 is mostly student or just entered the kind of your workforce. 25 to 30 or 25 to 35, they are the ones who at least have been working for last 5 years or 10 years, right? But by looking into last 5 years data, if that is something which data is telling, right? That okay, this age group is actually in during offer days, they are on an average buying more, right? So that can be one of my hypotheses, right? So average uh, side like kind of average purchase value of this age group is more than the other age group by 20 percentage or 25 percentage, right? So that is somewhere I'll go and do a hypothesis testing, right? Same thing again, like most of the will learn in marketing research course. Websites, how do they do? Like I have two different websites, two different kind of colors, themes, wireframes, right? Now I want to understand which should be my final website, right? Which website customers or the potential customers will visit more. Then I can do a A/B testing with the assumption that okay, with this kind of wireframes, this theme, and this kind of call to action buttons, customers or the potential customers will visit this website more, right? So those of the things also can be predicted, right? Then there is something called forecasting, right? Mostly if I have sales data, right, or any kind of data, right? I can forecast for future, right? So there are different forecasting techniques. Some of you might have gone through in production and operation management If not, so those of you who have taken supply chain analytics will be covering those, right? Different forecasting method. Then there is something called predictive, right? So can anybody tell me what will be the difference between this forecasting and predictive modeling? Why these are two different? Because see, if you see the explanation, so predictive modeling is telling what will happen next, and forecasting extrapolation is telling what if these trends continue, right? So basically, it is also asking something for the future. Then what is the difference?
Sir, actually, I have another question. Sir, if in any interview they will ask that what is the main difference between predictive analytics and descriptive analytics, then what will be your answer?
So you tell. I already explained in the last slide. You tell what will answer.
Sir, actually, I'm confused in that.
Why you confused? Okay, whatever you know. If you have not listened to last slide, you tell me whatever you know.
So that I think in predictive we are using softwares for analysis of any kind of data or any outcome. But in descriptive analysis, beyond software, we can intervene or interaction with different like customer or different people. I think that was.
Okay. Anyone else want to answer this question? Descriptive versus predictive. Anyone?
Sir, in descriptive analytics, we basically just take whatever data we have and we try to visualize and find patterns in it. But in predictive analytics, we sort of try to predict what will happen in the company in the near future so that we can change our actions accordingly.
Okay. So is there like Jatin is asking there is something difference in software? Do you want to answer that?
Sir, I think the same set of software can be used for both. Like if we want to do basic descriptive analytics, like we want to find the mean value or we want to see the average value, for that we can use the same software. And for predictive modeling also we use the same software.
Correct. Okay. And anyone else? Amar, what's your roll number?
Sir, 202021118.
Okay.
So in descriptive, I guess we focus more on the reason and like to understand what is making the change occur. And in predictive, we are more into how much the change is occurring or how much it is being driven or extended in the future.
Okay. But if you ask me how much is happening, that also can be part of descriptive, right? How much changes has happened or how much sales has happened in comparison to last year. So that can come under descriptive, right? I need not have to predict that.
So it's like what and why is what we are answering in descriptive, according to me.
Okay. Anyone else?
Descriptive model, like in descriptive analytics, we use the past data, like whatever data is available in the database of the company, we exploit that data, and then we provide the like accurate report according to that. But in predictive, we find out the patterns or the trends which will be dominating with the past in the market in the provided future, like the risk and the future outcomes, sir, depending on the past reports, sir. If you
Okay. Okay. Anyone wants to make a try with the example? Take the same data, right? Take any data, hypothetical data, try to like kind of answer what Jatin is asking. See, unless you speak, right? Because in interviews also you'll go through the same. Again, it is not necessarily the analytics interview. Anything, right? You have last 6 months left. Not only in this class, any other classes. Try to speak up, right? Otherwise, again, you'll get into the same difficulty in your companies also. So who is like, if you tell wrong here, nobody is blaming you, right? All of us are trying to learn. Make a try. What is
So
the
like in descriptive analytics, a company wants to analyze that how has COVID affected their business,
okay?
analyzing the past data, and for predictive analytics part, they will predict what will be the effect of sales in the third wave, upcoming third wave, future perspective.
Good. So this is a great example, right? COVID has happened, right? Now a company will go and they obviously know that the sales has declined, right? At least for most of the products. So let's say ITC or HUL or whichever company, MRF. So they have the sales figure and they right now have that dashboard and they're looking into the sales data. So for Western region, 20% is decline. For Eastern region, 30% is decline, right? So that is something they're observing, which has happened. Then 2019 data, 20 data, 21. Then they'll compare. In 2020, there was a decline of 20%. Then they put certain offers, but still in Eastern region, sales has again declined by 30%. Then they'll drill down. So when I say drill down, most of the time they'll have data, otherwise they'll ask for that data. But what they're doing, they're just looking into the same data for the same time frame, and they're trying to find out what are the reasons why it is happening, right? So this is the existing data they're analyzing and kind of describing that. So that is the meaning of descriptive analytics, right? Describing the current data which is in the hand, right? So COVID has happened, sales has declined. By how much has sales declined? Which region was worse hit? So these are the certain insights they are getting from the current data, right? So that is descriptive, describing the current situation. Now predictive, like Subhajit told. Now with this data, knowing that COVID third wave or fourth wave will keep coming, then they have like hired certain sales interns from, let's say, KIT, other colleges. So they are building their sales force. They are putting certain new offers. Now they are trying to predict. So they do not have the data for future. So they have only the current data. With current data, they are creating future data. So they are forecasting or they are predicting that, okay, in January month or January is here. Let's say from March, April, May, these will be my sales. In case COVID third wave happens, lockdown happens, these are the sales. If lockdown doesn't happen, these will be my sales. So these are my predictions, right? Predictions of future. So I'm creating actually future data, right? For my future, March, April, May. So there is no sales. Right now we are in January, right? Sales has not happened for March, but I'm creating that, forecasting that, predicting something for future, right? So that becomes my predictive analytics. So that is looking into future, predicting for future, forecasting for future, strategic in
Sir,
nature. Yeah.
Sir, can you say that in a layman language? If you do any analysis, means secondary research or primary research, the secondary research can be refers to the descriptive analytics, and the primary research can be refers to predictive analytics.
No.
Because
So secondary research, primary research is the method of collecting data. Secondary research is
yes,
already informed data. Primary, I go and ask, okay,
yes,
what
sir.
is
For
your name?
future,
No,
yes, sir.
primary data need not be. If I go and ask that, okay, what will be your package, Jatin, or after 2 years, will you be able to predict?
No.
Right. So who will? So if I go and like, let's say, how much you will buy next year grocery item. If I go and ask that to a customer, will he be able to tell? Primary data also, I'm collecting the past information or current information. I do not go to customers and say that, okay, can you tell me next year how much consumption or how much petrol consumption, diesel consumption will happen? Nobody will answer that. But what they can answer, in the last month, how much you spent on petrol, diesel, or grocery items, because that information they already have. So primary method and secondary research is collection of data, method of collecting data. Secondary method, secondary research is something data which is there. I go and download data from government websites on employment. So that is already there. So that is secondary research. But if I go and ask different youth in Odisha, in the last 2 years, did you lose your job? How many months you were unemployed? So that is collecting first-hand data, right? So that is primary data. But primary data doesn't mean predictive. So I'm not going to ask that, okay, can you predict that in the next 2 years whether you'll be employed or not? Right? Nobody can answer. So be very clear. Primary and secondary is the data collection method, not analysis approach. Descriptive is describing current data. If I go and collect that information, like collecting the data either through secondary or primary, and now I describe, okay, 20% of the youth between 20 to 30-year-old lose their job in last 2 years. So that is describing data. So that is descriptive analytics. Or the mean salary of IT professionals is this much. This is the current data I have collected, and this is what the data is telling. That is descriptive analytics. Now, with that data, can I predict the IT professionals who are with 3 years of experience will get a hike of 40%? Some of you recently, some of the news are coming, right? Next year or this year, there will be a huge hike in certain roles. So that is something they're predicting. So it is not that they go and asking that, okay, are you going to get a hike or not? Nobody knows. By how much, again, that is nobody knows. But with the current data, they're predicting because they have seen the trend, right?
Yes.
I have all the student data, right? So now if I have the data of last class, W or whatever the analytics subjects, now I look into all those 59 students who have taken those courses and go through the information. Okay, how many students were regular in class, or how many students answered, or how many students performed well in quiz, right? So that is the descriptive analytics. But having that information, can I predict how will you perform in this course? If I can create a model with that information based on your past performance, based on your whatever analytics subjects, electives you have taken, if I am able to predict how much you are going to score in this subject, so that will be predictive analytics. I'm able to predict your marks. Similarly, if I can predict what will be your salary package 2 years down the line, based on your performance in college, 10th, 12th, the specialization you have taken, the current offer in hand. If I'm able to predict your salary package in next 2 years, so that will be predictive analytics. But right now I can take that data and I can understand that, okay, from this specialization, these many students are placed. These are the typical salary package. So that is something describing, right? Is it clear or any doubt?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyone else having any doubt on these differences? What is the difference between descriptive analytics and predictive analytics? Descriptive analytics, as the word suggests, describing the current data, right? Getting insight of the current data. If somebody asks, like generally in MBA colleges, that is the standard question: what is the mean salary, median salary? So that how will I get? I'll take the last 5 years student data, whatever salary package they've got. I'll carry out mean, median, mode, and I'll tell that, okay, these are the mean salary, median salary, or mode salary. But with the all the information I have, can I predict the salary, or at least the average salary for the batch for the next year or this year? Then I'm making a prediction, right? So that will be predictive analytics. Okay. Coming back to my question, what do you think the difference between this forecasting or predictive modeling? Anyone?
Sir, forecasting is a part of the predictive model where we make prediction regarding the future trends uh, on the basis of the data we have provided or the raw data we have provided.
Okay, what kind of data is required? What kind of data is a must in a forecasting? Without that, you will not able to do forecasting.
The past data and current data can be there.
Historical data.
Yes, Arpan?
The historical data, past data.
Okay, can you be little because historical data can be like, let's say, if I take last year's data, right?
Like if we say about forecasting, that if we have our case on placement charts, like if you see the last 5 years salary increase, the let's say the median salary will be 7.5. In the last 5 years, it is increasing 10%. So we can forecast for the batch of those are passing out on 2023. So if this year the median is 8 lakhs, so we can predict that next year it can be 8.8.
Okay.
That's what.
Sir, for forecasting, we require data like something like time series data which we collect at different particular points of time on the basis of statistic.
Correct. So this is essential whenever somebody talks about forecasting, right? You need to have a data in a particular format, right? If I have only 1 year data, I cannot forecast with that. I need to, because mostly the models which is at present available to us, right? So that is creating a trend line, right? Other models are evolving, machine learning models are evolving, but still, right, we can create dummy data. So we'll not get into that. But the point is, the traditional method of forecasting is you need to have a data in a specific format. What format is that? Continuous data for last few years or few months, depending upon how you define your time frame, right? If I say I need to have a yearly forecast, I need to have data for last few years, right? So the more the data, obviously my forecast will be better, right? Because different type of trends are there, cyclical trend, seasonal trend. So those all will be captured, right? But so that is something which is known as a time series data, right? Whether I'm predicting month wise, day wise, let's say weather, right? If I do not have the day wise weather data, I cannot predict for next, right, next day, right? So that is something for forecasting your uh, time series data is essential. Then what about predictive modeling, right? Again, like Lisa was telling, forecasting extrapolation is a part of prediction, but prediction is a like high level method because there are certain things which is not only for predicting for the sales or predicting for a future time, right? Let's say a customer has taken loan, right? Right now, if you see, a lot of banks are facing that issue, right? Non-performing assets. People like Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi took loan and they're not returning. And those are the big fees of which we came to know later on, right? So there will be many small pieces which have gone through the net and vanished. So now the question is, whenever I'm going to give a loan to a company, a loan to individual, right? Can I be sure that this person is not going to default? That means if he has taken a loan, he will pay back the principal and interest, right? Can I predict the propensity of this person to default? Some of us, when we apply for a credit card, that might be declined based on those certain scores, right? So what they're like predicting, that is this person is a good person to give a credit card or good person to give a loan. Can I rely on that person? So that is something they're predicting. You put a like, let's say today you are buying something, you put a OnePlus or any phone, MI or Asus or Sony or any phone in your basket. Suddenly there is a recommender which comes that, okay, those persons who bought these items also bought this mobile case, this screen guard. So that is also a recommender system or a prediction system, because it has gone through the past data. It has seen that it is again not a time series data. What it has looked into, different customers have bought different items. What are the items in their basket? Now what it is suggesting, most of the customers who bought these items also bought these. So it is recommending certain items for you. If some of you have bought books in the Amazon based on your reading style, whether you read fiction or kind of horror or your non-fictions or poetry, it will keep suggesting you certain book genres, right? That is again, it is a prediction. Cricket IPL is happening based on your
Sir,
past. Yeah,
sir, in prediction also, they're also using some reference, means past reference or present reference.
correct. Without
Like,
data, they're using data,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, sir, the main means in forecasting also we are using some reference, but it is systematically it may have systematically data, but in predictive analytics we are also using the same means previous data, recent data. So, how can we differ it means in predictive
Correct. So it
analytics?
is a, so that's why I told it is a time series data, right? So for a particular point, particular data point, if you have the past data past 5 years, 3 years, or 2 years, right? I'm predicting something for next month or next 2 months or 3 months. So that is my time series data for a particular parameter, for a particular variable. I have quantitative information of sales of whatever, right? Revenue, and I'm predicting something for the future month or future year, right? But in your predictive analytics, you need not have to have a time series data. But yes, when I say past information, I have today's data. So, okay, I'll give a simple example. If I say that, okay, tomorrow weather is average temperature is 21 degree, can you predict for tomorrow's weather?
No, sir. For today's temperature, I can't say, but I have to take
Okay,
last 2 to 3
so
days.
if I give you last 5 years of data, temperature only,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes,
I'll
sir.
only give you temperature data on a day, particular highest temperature, lowest temperature, average temperature, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you predict tomorrow's
Yes, sir.
temperature?
Yes, sir. I can
You
predict.
can predict. So this is forecasting, right? I have a one variable. I have time series data of last 5 years. I am using a either exponential average, moving average, or whichever kind of forecasting method, and I'll predict for tomorrow, right? There is
Yes, sir.
other way around. I have wind speed. I have yesterday's temperature, means today's temperature. Then I have wind speed, I have humidity, I have all the weather information. Can I predict? See the information required.
Yes, sir. But the accuracy may not be that much
No,
right.
nobody knows. Nobody knows
Yes,
what
sir.
kind of model will give a better accuracy unless you feed the model, right? But there is a way I can predict.
Yes, sir.
Same
Yes,
thing.
sir.
Jatin scored uh, from class standard 1 to standard 10, each subject how much you have scored, right?
Yes.
That information I have. Then I am going to predict for the next whatever your post graduation CGPA, right? So I have this variable data. Okay, first standard he scored 80 percentage, second standard 82 percentage. So these are the my scoring. Then what you will score in your MBA, right? So that is something I can use a forecasting model, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
that is one way to do it. Other way to do it, how you are performing right now. What is your
Yes, sir.
like average attitude, average attention, everything I can take and predict, okay, whether you'll do well on this course or not.
Yes, sir.
So understand the difference between these two data
Yes, sir.
requirement.
Yes, sir. Yes. Got it.
Sir, I have a
Yeah,
doubt, sir.
yes, of course.
Sir, so can we say that we try to forecast the demand of the inventories that might be required? so as to predict as to what can be the customer demand in future. Because if I have to optimize my supply chain, or if I have to take decisions according to the basis of that, so for that, this is why we use demand forecasting as well as predictive predictions.
Uh, no, I was just kind of giving an example, not ideally both are kind of used in different scenarios. See, if I have the time series data, let's say the customer demand, right? Uh, let's say ITC for Asirpa data, they have the or for any product, right? Or Amul, different milk products they're selling. For each of them, they know that okay, for last 5 years, what has been the sales, right? So they can just create a forecast model with different kind of error built in, and they can forecast okay, next 6 months, next 3 months, what will be the probable sales of this product, right? And that information will be planned along with the plant manager. So that is what your sales integrated operational planning, SIOP. So when sales managers are preparing this plan, plant manager also will be available. Okay, this is the forecast of sales for next 3 months or 6 months. Accordingly, plant will be operated right. This much manufacturing will happen, right? So that is where your forecasting comes into picture, right? Prediction usage will be here if let's say COVID has happened, sales is declining, right? Now I can use a prediction tool. If I put 5% discount in Ashirvad data, or provide a free, let's say this hand sanitizer sachet, will the sales will go up by 10%? So that is something I am putting a prediction model. Same information I have, right? But the use cases will be different. In one case, I am predicting the existing sales which is going to happen, forecasting the existing sales is going to happen in next 6 months, right? Accordingly, my plant manager will be like kind of uh, getting prepared for the manufacturing. But my marketing director came and said that okay, no, the sales is not good. We have to increase our sales by 10%. Check that which offer, because we have gone like given those kind of offers earlier, last 5 years or 10 years, we have used similar offers. So run your algorithm and tell me that which kind of offers, if we provide right now, sales will increase by 5%. Because there are different methods, right? In marketing, I can provide a coupon, I can provide a free premium, right? Free product, or I can provide 1+1 free. Like there are different sales kind of promotional methods, right? But I cannot run all of them. Now, what my this or like let's say marketing director will come, tell me which one you will run, so that I'll get an increase of 10%, right? So that will become my actually not a predictive, though it is written here predictive. That is something known as prescriptive analytics, right? So that is somewhere I have 10 different options, 10 different methods to increase 10%, to increase sales by 10%. Which one I should choose? So that is somewhere where optimization methods, simulations methods will be utilized, right?
Yes,
Does
sir.
it yeah?
So can we say that forecasting and prediction, they both go hand in hand with each other?
In a way, yes. In a way, most of the companies use those simultaneously. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Any other question? So forecasting, again, we are making a prediction for future, but we need time series data. If I do not have a time series data for that variable, right? Time series data means the past years continuous data for that variable which I am uh, kind of trying to forecast, right? Then other differences can be like it need to be continuous data. When I say forecasting, so what I can forecast? I can forecast sales, I can forecast profit. So these are the numbers, right? Solid numbers. But when let's say you want to predict something, whether let's say this test is going on, right? Whether India will win this test or not. So there is no number, right? Yes or no. Either it will win or lose or draw. Obviously, there are three choices,
Yeah.
three
Yes.
options, right? So that is so there is nothing like a forecasting. Though I'm doing a forecast, right? So understand the difference. I'm predicting something, but I have only three options, categorical options: uh, lose, win, draw. So no forecasting techniques will be able to forecast that. Forecasting will happen only for the quantitative variable, right? Continuous quantitative variable, sales, profit, right?
Sir, for
Uh,
predictive
yeah.
analytics, descriptive analytics is must.
Before you do any analytics, descriptive analytics is a must. Without looking into data, without looking into mean, median, mode, how the chart looks. So that is somewhere in visualization we learned, right? Anytime you get a data, look into that data. Then only you'll realize, okay, what information is not available, what informations are outliers, right? Without creating any hypothesis. So that is a must. So if I like kind of you have to know something that is must is if you do not know predictive analytics also it is okay. With descriptive analytics is must. So you need to have the knowledge of creating a dashboard. You need to have a knowledge of going through the data and looking into okay how the data looks, right?
Yes, sir.
So yes, so that is a must. Descriptive analytics is a must. Before you predict something, you have to understand what information you have available with you. Is it correct information? Do you need additional information? And for that, descriptive analytics is a must, right? Any questions on these kind of things? Why I'm putting pressure or focus on this? Because either in your quiz or in your final end term, I'll give certain scenarios and ask that, okay, what kind of analytics is this, right? So you need to have a at least good command over that. Any last question before we proceed? Okay. So why again predictive analytics important? Detecting fraud, right? So most of the banking credit card companies, like I said, so they have inbuilt models. There are a lot many data scientists, business analysts, data analysts are working to like kind of obviously improve. So there is no model which will tell 100% correct prediction, right? And with time, with the kind of additional data, the model accuracy keeps changing. So that is one of the key area where banks, insurance companies put a lot of focus detecting fraud. You have taken this insurance for motor insurance, life insurance, health insurance, and actually nothing wrong has happened, but you are claiming those insurances, right? So how to detect that? Can I predict that okay, this this is a fraud or not? Yes or no? Or this type of person might carry out a fraud based on the past data, right? Optimizing marketing campaigns. So this is where the example I was telling, right? Which kind of campaigns? Let's say I have this kind of different kind of offers. Which kind of campaigns I should run during which which time period, so that my marketing campaigns are optimized, right? Improving operations. So this is where like airlines do a lot of kind of analytics, even the hotel rooms, OYO and all those things, right? I don't know which, I think B2B or the other class I had given you that Asian Paint case study, right? Asian Paint back in 1980s, they bought a supercomputer and created these predictive models. So they removed this distributor from their supply chain. Company is there, plant is there, directly truck will come and give the paint delivery to all these retailers. Retailers do not predict anything. Based on the historical sales data, everything is predicted. Which location, what kind of paint quantity, what kind of paint color, right? Everything is predicted. So that is where how much savings in operations. So they need not have to store somewhere, directly from plant, a nearby plant. Your truck or the trailer will come, deliver your paint quantity, and will leave. Significant operational savings. Uh, Airlines, right? Based on the passenger data, anyhow they provide those offers also, and they can predict also. If I go to American Airlines or Delta Airlines, they can predict for next 1 month what will be at their capacity. If they are like on an average, whether they are running at 80% capacity or 90% capacity. Similarly for the hotels also, right? So that is where it gives you operational efficiency, because if you predict that okay, your occupancy rate or the capacity is only 60% utilization, then only you will think of okay, rather than flying 2 flights per day, can we able to accommodate within 1 flight? Some of the times you see that flights are cancelled, right? So it is not that they did not know suddenly they can. Sometimes due to these natural calamities, it gets cancelled, but most of the times they know that on that particular day I might have to cancel 1 flight, because if the occupancy rate is 15%, 20%, they'll run a loss if they just go with 10 or 15 passengers, right? So that is also builds their operational or improves their operational efficiency. Reducing risk, right? I think some of you who are using credit card, debit card, if you go and there are many free tools which provide you your credit score, right? Later on, whenever you want to go and take a loan, right? Bank will give you that credit score report. If your credit score is 800 or close to 800 or more than 750, you'll get a good deal, right? In your loans and all those things. So that is where how you are calculating that credit score based on your past customer behavior, right? All those banking credit card companies are taking your data, right? And creating that credit score for you. That itself becomes a predictive, right? So it is a higher score means that person is credit worthy because regularly he has paid back his loans or maintained his whatever credit cards correctly, right? So that is something also can be predicted, right? Any questions on this? Okay, so there are two types of model we're going to discuss. May not be possible to discuss all the models when we do those class exercises, but at least maximum of them we'll be able to cover. So there are different types of model. So not necessarily only for marketing. Again, same models can be utilized across industries. So one is response model. So what does it mean? So just listen to the word and try to, because if you mug it up, if you want to kind of just remember everything, it will be very difficult. So try to remember through certain examples, right? When I talk about response model, right? So what does it mean? If I put a offer, what will be a response of my customer? The example which I was giving. Right now, if I start putting a 10% discount in certain FMCG product, can I predict that okay, these are the customers who will buy this product? Or let's say in Zomato or Uber, if I say that okay, this 10% if you take a outstation rental, or in Zomato, they'll tell that if you purchase above 199 rupees or 149 rupees, I have a cashback offer, or I have this discount of 50 rupees or 100 rupees, right? So this is what they're trying to predict, the response of a customer based on the previous data, right? Winback model. Again, winback means returning, right? A customer like let's say your Airtel, your Jio, or let's say even bank. If I give, let's say right now you put this port, you want to switch from Jio to Airtel or Airtel to Jio. I do not have any preference, but let's say from one telecom companies to other, right? Suddenly they'll start giving you offers, because once you call to that customer care executive, once he or she like pulls your name in that screen, all the details will be given and comment will be given. Okay, this is a customer who has been with us for last 7 years. Average revenue for this customer is 300 rupees or 200 rupees. So in case sometimes he wants to switch or port, he's telling you like kind of to different network, give him or her this offer. So there will be Sorry, I got disconnected. So most of you, in case sometimes you want to switch your telecom network, right? They'll provide you offer, right? Sir, this offer is specifically for you. Will offer, and most of the times, if you are a postpaid customer, same with the banks also. If you go and try to say that, okay, I want to, let's say you have a loan in certain SBI or HDFC or whichever bank, and I want to switch or take your loan out of that bank, suddenly they'll start reducing that 0.25% or 0.5%. And so this is somewhere they're predicting. So it is not that, okay, it is up to that person. Earlier it used to happen, right? Whenever you do not have this kind of analytics capabilities. But most of the, I'm not sure whether SBI actually is using that or not, but most of the private banks, HDFC, ICICI, they do use this. If you go and try to like kind of close the savings account, suddenly they'll give you certain additional offers. So this is something called a Winback model. That means if I give this offer, how much probability is that this customer will come back, return? Or let's say you have stopped using Jio or Airtel for last 6 months or 12 months. Sudden, or let's say internet. In Bangalore, I used to have this ACT internet, broadband internet, ACT. So they keep calling me every 6 months, 3 months, whenever there is a new offer. They keep calling me saying that, okay, we have a special offer for you. And I keep telling them that I'm no longer in Bangalore. But the point is, obviously, they should keep updating their database that customer is no longer in that location. But they have a model, right? So they are trying to win back the customer. Activation model is mostly necessary in this kind of sales funnel, right? So in CRM, the Salesforce software, right? So they know exactly that, okay, if I keep this kind of option or this offer for a customer or not a customer, actually prospect or a lead, he or she or that person might become a customer, right? So you are like, let's say, going to Amazon or let's say Myntra or any kind of e-commerce site. Suddenly you browse through those kind of e-commerce site, and right now let's say you are doing something else. Suddenly in your email or you'll get SMS saying that, okay, you have a 20% or 30% offer for some Myntra or some Flipkart. So they are trying to, because they know they have the browsing data with them, right? They know exactly from which IP site or which location you have logged in, and obviously they have your mobile phone and your contact details, and they are trying to kind of activate you, right? So they are trying to move you from the prospect status to the customer status, right? By providing obviously certain offers and all those things, right? Revenue model, again, this is again used by the telecom companies. So why I'm telling you that whenever these kind of specific companies come, right, and in the interview keep company specific examples rather than telling them that I know SAS or I know R or Python. Try to give them the example how analytics being used in those. So same thing, revenue model, most of the telecom companies, Airtel, Jio, they use this to predict what if the average revenue per unit, ARPU, average revenue per customer, because that is their metrics. Recently there was a kind of increase in their fees, right? I think Vodafone and Airtel did first, then later on Jio also increased, because the average revenue per unit was very less for all the three telecom providers. So that is where again they track, right? For each customer, what is the potential revenue per that customer, right? How much they earn from that customer. Same thing with Amazon, Flipkart, all these companies. Usage model. Again, telecom companies use this, credit card companies use this, Netflix, Prime Video, they use this. This person has taken a basic plan, but he using fully like kind of complete 24 hours or 18 hours per day. So they now will try to give you that offer. Why don't you just move into the whatever premium by paying 50 rupees or 100 rupees more, right? Cross sell and upsell, again, basically cross sell, upsell. I hope all of you know the difference. Upsell means if somebody has taken a basic, just getting into the premium mode, right? You have Microsoft Office, so they'll tell that, okay, why don't you take Microsoft 365? It will have better features and all these additional features. Cross sell means you have one product along with that additional, like let's in Amazon or Flipkart, they do that, right? You are buying laptop, along with that they'll give you offer for laptop bag, mobile phone, along with mobile phone your mobile phone cover and screen guard, right? So that is your cross sell model. That is also a kind of recommender system which comes under predictive modeling. Loyalty, attrition and churn model, this part again we have discussed. Churn means customer is moving away from you, can I reduce that? Same thing I can utilize in a company also. There is a lot of discussions, lot of predictive modeling is happening across HR attrition. IT companies are facing a lot of issue due to COVID. Attrition rate has increased. So if I have this kind of employees, TCS will build a model and say that, okay, these are the potential employees which might leave my company. So before they leave the company, they'll try to, like, if he is a high performer or a potentially good employee, so they'll try to keep him or her back. Same thing with the customers also. Can I predict that, okay, this customer will switch to a different telecom provider or switch to a different bank, right? Because I think all of you by this time know that, right? Existing customer is 3 to 4 times uh, profitable than a new customer, because I am not spending anything in the marketing campaigns. He or she already exists in my database. He is a paying customer to me, right? I should not lose any existing customer, right? So customer churn is defined as customers closing up one account in conjunction with opening up another account for the same product or service, usually at a reduced cost, right? So basically your customer keeps, it is basically like mostly in telecom companies this terminology is used, right? Because what happens, we have only 2 or 3 offers, uh, Vodafone, Idea, Vodafone Idea, then Airtel and your Geo. People, what they do, move from one company to other and again come back to the previous company with a lesser rate, right? So this keeps happening, right? So this is known as the customer churn modeling, right? And any question on this? I'll just take another 5 minutes. I have another slide to show, then the rest of it we'll discuss in next class.
Sir, the revenue model, as you said, is used only in the telecom sector or any other sector is also.
Oh, see, model is same. You can use it anywhere. Like Amazon can predict how much market basket or revenue he'll earn per customer, right? So wherever you have this kind of information, you can predict how much you'll earn from that customer. Banks will, credit card, they can predict how much fee they'll collect from customer, right?
Sir, in the activation model, can be like, is Amazon using this model, sir, like for that before there any advertisement there popping up, that popping
Yes,
up
yes.
comes.
Most of the e-commerce companies use this kind of model. Whenever there is a potential visitor to website, you will get any company having a website will be using this kind of model, because that is a prospect, right? And I want to change it to a customer.
Okay, thank you.
Then default models. So basically, these are basically, if you see, risk and approval models, right? Risk means how much risk this customer is having, right? Whether it is a good customer for me or not. Then based upon that risk, whether I should approve that loan or approve that credit card, right? So these are mostly, so marketing is mostly retail industry, telecom industry, all those industries. Risk and approval are basically credit card, insurance, banking industries, right? Again, I'm not telling that they cannot use that, but the most used cases, whatever we are going to cover, right? So predicting the likelihood of default or bankruptcy has been the main profit driver for loan industry for many years, right? Look about the banks, right? If you do not, in today's world, if you do not have a very like well performing model, which can predict, okay, this company which is taking a corporate loan is a good company to give loan for. Otherwise, they'll become bankrupt and you will lose your all your whatever principal amount, right? So that is something that is a default model. Default means, so as you know, the word is default means you are not defaulting your loan. If you are taking a personal loan or a car loan or a home loan, I am sure that this person is going to give the money back. So when I say I am sure, it should have a data point behind it, right? It is not that, okay, I believe that person. It is not that personal trust. Based upon the past, this person's whatever data, income data, then credit score, financial data, I should be able to predict whether this is a good customer, but this customer will not default in the loan, right? So it can be for a person, it can be for a company also, right? And going forward, if you look into the economics level also, it can be for a nation also. So if, let's say, if you want to give to loan to North Korea, nobody will give today. Or Ecuador, or let's say your Venezuela, nobody is going to give. World Bank will not give that loan to those few countries because they know that they cannot return it back. They'll default. Same thing with your banks also. Whenever they're giving loan to certain companies, they'll give this kind of prediction whether I should give based on the similar kind of companies. They have the last uh, 30 years, 50 years data of a million of companies like this, right? Who have approached them for loan. Similarly, personal, like if they are giving a personal loan to someone, or a home loan, or a bike loan, or any kind of loan, they will be able to predict whether this person is credit worthy. Just kind of going forward with the default model, another additional or a advanced model is loss given default model. What does it actually mean? Just look into the word. Default model means whether this person will default on the loan or not. Default means he is not going to, like, basically he's going to pay me back that loan, pay me the money. If he's not paying me that money, he is defaulting, right? Making a fault, right? Loss given default means, as the word suggests or the phrase suggests, if that person or that company is not able to pay me back that money, how much loss I'm going to incur, right? So that is the, because now what will happen? I have, because I'm mortgaging certain asset, whatever money I'm giving as a loan minus that asset's future value will my loss. Let's say you have taken a home loan, right? And you have given, or let's say car loan, or any kind of loan, you have given certain mortgages, right? So bank will predict, in case this person defaults, that means he or she is not able to pay back the loan, how much loss that bank is going to incur. So in default model, what you are going to predict, whether this person is credit worthy, whether this person will default or not, yes or no, right? That's it. If yes, I'll not give him that loan, or I'll not give that company the loan. If no, then only I'll give that loan. Right? Yes means what? That person is going to default. That means that person is not going to pay me back my money. So I'll not pay, I'll not give a loan to that person. So that is the default model. Yes or no? If I just modify that model and say that build a loss given default, what does it mean? In case that person defaults, that means that person is not able to pay me back the loan amount, then what will be the loss I'll incur, right? Claim model. So this is basically the insurance companies, whether health insurance or your any kind of insurance, accidental insurance, health, life term insurance, right? So based upon the tableau, we are doing that kind of insurance analytics, right? So now what they're predicting, how much this kind of persons are going to claim in case, let's say, accident happens, in case, let's say, they die, what will be the term insurance, what will be the claim amount, right? So based upon that, they charge those premiums, right? Health insurance, how much premium I'll charge. To a smoker, it has to be higher, right? Because it is a more probable that he or she will be ill rather than a non-smoker. Same thing for an alcoholic drinker and like who doesn't drink, right? So that is a claim model. Insurance companies will be determine reserve levels for life, health, auto, homeowners insurance on the, again, what kind of parameters they take, demographics, risk factors, including claim history and credit risk factors. Credit risk factors are basically those like kind of red indicators, smoker or not. Age is actually a demographic. Age is a big criteria. If somebody is below 30 or below 40, she will pay less premium because lifespan right now in India is 70 or 80, right? But if somebody is 60, 65, he or she might not get a health insurance. Life insurance, any of he or she will not get. Right. So that is the claim model, right? Fraud model, like I was telling, right? Most of the banks face this kind of credit card fraud, insurance fraud. Can I predict that? So credit card fraud, so they will have certain triggers. Whenever continuously this much credit swiping is happening, suddenly your credit card will be blocked. So they know that your past purchase data, right? Suddenly you have not visited one site and suddenly somebody is using your credit card to buy anything like from that site. Certain items are there, guns, gold. If you try to use your credit card and buy that, suddenly your credit card will be blocked because those are the fraud triggers. In past, whenever fraud has happened, most of the time these are the potential purchases which has happened. So banks have inbuilt those models, prediction. Again, different models used by different banks. So that will be your fraud model, right? Any questions on this? Chalo, I'll share the slide, go through it. In case of any doubt, again, we can discuss maybe for 5-10 minutes in the next class, right? If there are no questions, I'll stop here for today.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I missed my attendance.
Roll number 296. Okay. Anyone else?
Thank
Sir,
you, sir.
231.
231.
11.
1 minute. Dheeraj. Yeah. Okay.
Sir, 045.
045. Okay. Okay. Chalo. Take care. We'll meet next week.